Street cred. Street cred.
Yeah.
Off of somebody else's project.
Okay, it's
And
live
it was
now.
under
Mayor
what?
Sheldon nearly created a Black Lives Matter advisory council.
Where is it?
I wouldn't.
And
That's
what
what
have
I'm.
they accomplished?
Yeah.
And who's on it?
Okay. Let me get the door.
Are we on? I
Okay.
guess so.
Uh,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it must be the gentleman.
Say, Mayor
You
advisory
get real
council
close.
to the Flint Police Department to ensure those working to address the issues of police brutality.
But yeah, he had 3 police cars out there watching me in an empty parking lot after the day that I was out there with kids that one day. They was he had the lights on, they was in the middle of the street, they were scared to kids. They were like, is somebody shooting?
Or what? Somebody about to get arrested?
Yeah, what's going on? I said, let me go over here and see it. I went over there and said, why are you all here? Is something going on? Should we take the copy?
Mhm.
He said, you want to make sure nobody paints the street. So out there, Neely said that somebody was to come out here and paint the street. After he said no, that we gonna get out there and play Frogger with the traffic. That's crazy.
Those are his words. Okay.
I said, that's crazy. I said, I have children here. This is an example. I said, we're sitting up here and saying what freedom means to us. And then right here, the antithesis of what freedom isn't. I said, you got the slave masters, catchers out here watching us
Come on,
celebrate Juneteenth. I said, what's wrong with you?
come on. We in the back.
That's crazy.
This is gonna be we're gonna take the whole conversation. We on air anyway, so
I don't want to be
Good.
controversial.
I know you're
because-
not, because you're saying something that I did not know. Like I'm hearing. Well,
Well, the thing is that they wanted to kowtow to them by saying whatever it would, like someplace else you can do this, the other, just to get us back down so we wouldn't hype people up because they thought people were going to get in the street and protest and march. He said he heard the rumors that he said, and I heard about the threats.
what's
I
that?
said, "Who's threats?"
We know how long we had 10 days.
She was doing all the programming and paperwork and everything. But I tell them, I just let it know when and how to get into the program. You can just pop up and speak. You can do that.
Oh my God. I'm just
So
gonna get out of
it was just ridiculous. And then they called Joe Shapani after I had taken over directorship and said, is there a way to get out of this? And he said, why don't Black Lives Matter to this administration?
Mm.
And they were like, well, I think that we need to try to talk her down because this isn't a good look right now. I don't want to support this message. I said, so you don't support Black Lives Matter? He said, no, I don't. That's not what my agenda is. Well, what is your agenda? Because I really don't know.
Mhm.
Much from this administration are unifying the community or doing anything for Black people to bring us together. And I don't do it.
No.
And he said that, oh, we're such a divided community and this add more division to it. I said, I don't think so. Unifying project. We have more women participation than we have Black.
And also, it was a facility, in the mass in 1865.
Mhm.
This was supposed to be a revival of it, the celebration of Juneteenth and freedom.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if they want to stop our voice of protest or acknowledgement of a problem, then what is that doing? What is that saying? What's the message?
We don't know. That's something like, you had the police there with these kids, and you had
Yes,
babies there. This wasn't a
Hello.
that was an ugly look.
I sent it
And
to you yesterday.
I didn't want the kids to come back. And
At the top.
they don't have to feel
I
oppressed
caught
by
the top of
the police. That's something
Yeah.
that we want to get away from.
Just
The
hit the
whole
link and then
point
it'll bring
of
you
Black
in.
Lives Matter is to get away from underneath police oppression, the unequal justice system, the way it plays out. And if we don't acknowledge it, if we pretend that it doesn't exist, then we are just
Hmm?
as guilty as the oppressor.
Yes.
What is his name? Is that what now?
And when we start oppressing ourselves and our own voices, it really diminishes the community.
Hold on.
And this is stamped and everything for what date? April the 23rd. And then 2 days before the event, he shut us down.
Pulled all kinds of falsehoods.
Got it.
I mean, we even got the studies in its hand.
Let me see.
We have a lot of information going on here.
He said that we had provided this information, ingredients and everything. So I had all when I got them, I got extra copies. So I pulled up another one. Here you go.
Do it on your part.
Are we lying?
I see you on the screen, but let me hold on. Hold on, let me see.
But what I was told by an attorney was that we should go to the city council.
Are you on the screen?
Request.
I got you pulled up, and I don't see. Put your camera on.
This is what she said. Well, actually, I should let you read it. Council could do a resolution staking out the racial equity and moral impairment of the mural and direct that city to do all necessary to our project to repair, seal the mural. I don't know if anyone will vote against it, even if they do. We always get 5 individuals council to get it passed. And go around.
And this
let me
was
see.
This was right after he told us we couldn't do it.
what date was this?
This was this conversation.
Okay. Yeah, you did just text the phone because we on now.
June 1st.
That was on June 21st.
We started having a conversation. And she said that she would recommend that we contact Jerry Renfrey Carter, Lee Del Lucas, Quincy Murphy, and even Rick Mays and Jerry Burns. See if we can talk to them and see if they can help push this and let them know what our reasons are behind it. And then go to city council and bring up the or request for a resolution from the city council. And it'd be a community art project. And we would have to seek funding again because the city doesn't pay for anything it do. Then it says, I know that Eva Worthy and Jenny Priestley as well, they would not oppose it. However, Denise, question. That his story seems to change at the end of the road. The interview with the courier, engineering. Then he did an interview with somebody else, and he said that matters safety. And so it was ridiculous. And I was right there. Courier called.
But the thing about it, you said that right after the festivities and everything, and for someone to go down and speak to council, well, I didn't even know anything about that conversation.
Well, actually, I thought that we should wait until after the festivities. During, I didn't want to stink and have him try some of the retribution and shut things down because he said that he could actually shut things down during the event. He said, wouldn't that look bad? And I was like, yes, it would be an ugly optic for the city. Juneteenth celebration. And he said, well, I'm doing fireworks.
So you mean to tell me that he mentioned that he's doing fireworks?
We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the sauce. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came along with baby jars in a project kitchen.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Fli-City Blackout. We have a wonderful show today. We'll be discussing a number of issues and circumstances surrounding the BLM mural, right? I know the city was definitely looking forward to having that piece take place in the city, and, something that we were going to do during Juneteenth. And, we had some plans, we strategized about it, and, unfortunately, we didn't get the necessary support, right, to fulfill that project. So we'll be digging deep. We'll be talking about what led up to it, kind of denouncing a lot of the miscommunication that took place out in the community, and then just kind of just raising awareness to, retributing the mural, right? So it's a joy to be back in the mix. Dewan E. Robinson, and I have my two lovely queens here with me that played a major role in the mural and BLM activities. So we'll be kind of just going right in. So why don't you introduce yourselves for those who may not know?
I'm Yolandria Gentry.
And I'm Sandra Branch, Director of Flint Public Art Project.
And I was the coordinator of the Juneteenth parade.
Hmm. Yeah. So, first and foremost, how you ladies doing?
We're doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Blessed. And, it's a joy to have you here, and you're looking good. Right. Furthermore, and definitely, every time we all get together, man, it's something special. And just kind of going into the Juneteenth activities and what's taking place in the city. Juneteenth was phenomenal this year.
Yes, it
Right.
was.
I mean, I got a citywide, right? Traditionally citywide, and that has to definitely be known. So, I want to give a big shout out to our founder, Mrs. E. Hill Deloney, right, for bringing that concept here to the city of Flint, and visionaries like ourselves that continue to carry on through the storms, right? Um, yeah.
Longest running Juneteenth programs and celebrations in
Hmm.
the nation.
Yes.
And we had 2 glorious weeks of programming,
I'm gonna pull your mic.
educational.
Pull your mic to you.
We had 2 great weeks of programming, educational seminars
Mhm.
about financial literacy
Yes.
and our responsibilities to ourselves and our own community,
Yeah.
and pulling ourselves up out of poverty, and learning what programs are available for us. And we had wonderful associates from banks, and Brother Davison, Rex Davison,
Hmm.
helped us with the organizing on that end. That was wonderful. I've got so many comments back from the community about how we need to continue to do something like that, and
Hmm.
more than just annually.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Juneteenth is just not celebrated during the month of June. It's something that we should continue to do every day of our lives. When you understand the sacrifices that our ancestors have made for us to be in these positions and stand up strong today, is because of those who put it all on the line, right? People who worked and built this country, who wasn't always slaves. And I think that's the biggest misconception for, the original people. We always have to think of this concept like our history started in slavery and wish that it didn't. As us being the original people of this world, right? First man, right? First woman, right? To be able to be out here operating the way that we have done, and we have set up structures, we have built cities, right? We have
Builders
established
of the
governments,
pyramids.
builders of the pyramids, which is the last of the ninth wonders. We have done a lot. We have done it all, right? We had doctors, educators. We had
The first
high priests,
colleges,
the first
universities,
colleges, the first financial systems. You know,
Timbuktu, the
yeah,
University of Timbuktu.
yeah.
Where did the Greek philosophers go to study? They
Hmm.
went to Africa. They went to the
Yeah,
University of Timbuktu.
that's right.
So,
So even just kind of thinking about that and coming from the rich culture that we come from, we owe so much to our ancestors. And so even when we talk about being here in America, there was Aboriginal people here in America well before settlers came.
well, like they said, we landed on the shores
Hmm.
500 years before Columbus ever set sail.
That's right.
And there were cities that looked like Mali when they
Hmm.
first
Come on now.
when they first landed. They saw African,
Yes.
and then you
Yes.
look at the face of the Olmecs. They tried to bury those heads,
Hmm.
and they tried to erase us from history, but we popped back up.
Come on.
So you can't deny that we are the first explorers and discoverers of this continent
Yes.
and settled it.
Yes.
And since you said Molly, my DNA has Molly in it.
Well, you're an Aboriginal American.
Hmm.
Huh?
And see, I
Yeah.
mean, it's power in that too.
Yes.
It's
You should
deep.
get goosebumps from hearing that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know?
Right. Now that's actually why we have to go ahead and establish and be educational, right? We have to spread that knowledge. We have to talk about it, every day of our lives, right? So we don't forget. A lot of times people get caught up in their everyday life and they're doing whatever they're doing, just to live. But when you talking about the value that we have created and the value that's within us, it makes you want to do more. It makes you want to be united. It makes you want to do for the next generation. I mean, it's something that is a destiny of ours. And so we do have people in this community like yourselves that is contributing towards that. When you're talking about the original contributors to civilization, you know, we started a lot. We started all this, right? And so now we just getting back to our true nature of self.
Well, it's because history is written by the conqueror. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be written correctly.
That's
They
true.
write it to make themselves look smarter,
Hmm.
better, like they had the answers, and they didn't. They came, they stole, they killed, they raped, they marauded and stole
Hmm.
and took culture.
Yes.
And then they want to tell you you don't have culture.
Right.
Well, we do have it, and it's time for us to write our own history
I'm
and
telling you.
redefine our place in the world.
I'm telling you. So you know that is that's actually a great way to kind of start this and put that message out there. So, you know, one of the things that we want to definitely, you know, discuss and be very clear on is this mural. Um, Giving reference to the beginning of this mural back in 2020. So big shout out to Flint Public Art Project, Sandra Branch. That was a vision that, you know, they wanted to make a staple here in the city. And that was something that, you know, we wanted to impress on our people because that was a trivial time for us. That was during the time the movement was at a high. You know, George Floyd was unfortunately murdered by this justice system that continued to murder black and brown people all around the country, all around the world. To be able to make that statement was pretty big, right? And we just went out there and did
Unifying
it.
statement. We had all members from the community coming out
Yep,
in support of Black lives
that's right.
mattered.
Hmm.
And the thing was that we were saying it in our own community to each other and the world.
Yes.
If we don't realize that Black lives matter first,
Hmm.
then what is the point of spreading the message? It is a message to our community as well as other communities, a unifying message.
Hmm.
And you have to identify that there's a problem before you can address it. Now, by saying all lives matter, you negate the fact that there is a problem. And therefore, we never address the problem.
Right.
It's just like saying, we've got a neighborhood. Everybody lives in that neighborhood, but that house is on fire. Well, the house next to it wants water before the house on fire. No, you set the house on fire out first, therefore none of the others catch.
Right.
But see, they want to give water to every house and then let the Black house or the other house burn to the ground. That's
Yep.
not what we're going to do.
Mhm.
Nobody can tell us how to use our voice
Come on.
in our community.
That's right.
And when we have someone, a leader who is Black, to tell us that we have to muzzle our voice and we should not have that message, and it is not his message, it's not conducive to healing the problem.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So I'm confused.
that's a lot that happen, and unfortunately, it's a lot of folks, man. And you got a lot of people that may look like us, and I kind of get reference to the quote, right? You might look like me, but not not my kind, right? Let me say that clear. You might look like me, but not my kind. And so you got a lot of people, man, that carry this skin, right? This badge of honor, but don't represent the spirit. And that's a very hindrance thing for us, man, when we talk about moving forward. And so, we got to get back. We got to denounce that. And we got to stand strong up against it. I don't know, it don't matter how, difficult it may be sometimes. And
We
those
can't
people may be
let
in
our
position,
leaders
but we still
become
got to,
puppets.
yep,
Okay.
but they going to be
That is
puppets.
what we are.
Handkerchief
doing.
heads. Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm
Handkerchief
saying.
heads. That's exactly what they're
Can't
saying.
do that. And when we use
Mhm.
our power against our own people, what is that saying about us?
Really
Mhm.
trying to benefit themselves.
To try to
Mhm.
further ahead a personal agenda.
Yes,
And how can you hold on to power if you do not possess it?
exactly.
And power fights power with power.
Right.
No
Right.
divisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
No lies, no duplicitous.
Yeah.
And that's what we got. We
Mm-hmm.
got 50 different answers in 50 different directions.
That's right.
And
Mm-hmm.
none of them were pointing at the true reason why.
And so kind of going into that, right? So when we did this mural years ago, um, it was a statement. So now it just needed to be a touch up, right? And so we coordinated amongst each other, along with our organizations that support our work and efforts here in this community that support Juneteenth, etc. And everybody was on board.
Yes.
Yes.
And so we've had countless conversations. Big shout out to Rodney and the FIM. Big shout out to Community Foundation because they were definitely supporting the efforts by putting the funding up too. Because the
That was
first
a
time
beautiful thing.
it was a beautiful thing. The first time we just did it on off the backs of the community.
Well, actually, it was the What's Up Downtown project,
Mm-hmm.
and then I helped fund the paint
Mm-hmm.
with the Flint through the Flint Public Art Project because they really didn't want to take that message to the street either.
Right.
It was
Right.
my message, being
Right.
from Flint and Black and the Black community, and I was here
Mm-hmm.
during the time when Martin Luther King came and spoke in Spencer's basement about the I Have a Dream speech. My father was in the basement at that time.
Really? That's
So,
history.
It's
See?
history that speech was spoken and perfected in Flint, Michigan. So we
Wow.
have a history of taking that voice to the nation. And I think that when we stop doing that, we stop being who we are and true to ourselves. Nobody should be able to tell us how to protest
Exactly.
Or express our feelings and concerns.
or our pride
Mm-hmm.
in our message.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
No, actually, man, Flint has been an anchor in a lot of the progression that's taking place around the world. When you talk about fair housing, you're talking about
Started here.
automobile industry. You're talking about advocacy, right? We've definitely been on the front line fighting. And so
Education.
education,
the
model
first,
educational system. Yep.
City to
Com-
have
Community schools.
community schools
Mhm.
and community school directors
Mhm.
and parks in every neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah.
We were
What
progressive in that way.
Right. And so now when you look at the city now, it's been in a transition and it always point back to the leadership. And so when we were kind of, destined to deliver this project to the city, like we said, we were planning to do it on Juneteenth. That was our kickoff initiative. And like I said, definitely want to make sure everybody understand, we all had, we was all ready to be able to carry this out because you have folks showing up, people calling in like, hey, listen, what's up with the mural? When we go get to it, right? What time is it, right? Showing up, being there, right? And that means everything. So definitely want to, make sure that you all know that we had every intent and still have every intent to carry out that project. We went through a series of meetings with the city. So we had our plan together. We had our strategy together. And all we needed from the city was a permit, right? And that was just a block off the streets. It wasn't nothing else. We didn't need no money from them. We didn't need their support. Hell, we didn't even need them to come out.
We just needed their blessing, actually.
Mhm.
And the problem was we started trying to meet with the mayor's office in
Mhm.
March.
Correct.
And the mayor was out of town. The mayor was here. The mayor was there. And then they gave us the mayor's brother-in-law who just ran interference.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
finally, we got the meeting. And I told him, I said, look, we have a deadline to get this meeting approved before your 90-day mark.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought we had the support because can you refer back to that article you looked up where everybody can look at this article and see what Mayor Neely had said during the original painting?
Yep.
Oh, it's on the
And just let you know, I was in the early preliminary pages, but preliminary starts with these conversations and of course, through the strategy and planning. All the documentation they needed, I was able to provide. But for me myself, man, due to the strained relationship with myself, and I ain't gonna say the city administration, is Sheldon Neely, right? We just don't get along. We just, we haven't got along, and it's due to circumstances, that I don't approve of, and just a respectful man, very diplomatic, but I can't stand somebody, or I can't stand a situation or someone who don't respect where they come from, respect the community as a whole, try to work alongside with the stakeholders that's in this community. It's just something that, man, I can't just kind of get down with. So I'm always voice my opinion, whether, I see him in person or whether, I'm on podcasts and broadcasts like this. So I didn't come to these meetings, right?
No, you weren't there. I was there, and the meeting was for, as it says, Traditional Flint Juneteenth Celebration,
Mhm.
BLM Mural
Yeah.
rededication and painting.
Yeah.
So it was known, even though he claims he didn't know it was about the mural after we sat there for 4 hours talking about the mural. But in 2020, 3 years ago, read what that article says that Sheldon Neely said. And he wasn't even part of the original planning, but he wanted to jump in and take credit for it. So what did he say?
This is on the City of Flint website. It says June 15th, 2020. It says a massive Black Lives Matter street mural was painted along Martin Luther King Avenue on June 14th, 2020, with the full backing and support of Mayor Sheldon Neely. The mural was installed through a cooperative effort between Flint Public Art Project, the Community Foundation of Greater Flint, the What's Up Downtown Project, and the Flint Downtown Development Authority.
Not the city.
And it says this community stands united with Black Lives Matter.
Mm.
I am so proud to see so many people come together to
Who said that?
Sheldon Neely.
Okay.
To support justice and equity. Unity is strength. Together we can and we will move our community and our nation forward, Mayor Neely said. And it says a special thank you to who? Sandra Branch, Katie Yellow, Isaiah Oliver, and Joseph Shapini. Shapani, for their work on this project. And the mural is located in the 600 block of MLK. That's in front of Soggy Bottoms, to let you guys know. And we barely can see it now. We drive over it every day, and we cannot see it now.
Now, although he took credit, he would not let me seal the mural. And he said that the fire department and the city council wanted to come and blast it off the street with fire trucks.
But y'all those don't know, right? What you just read was a statement that was given from Sheldon Neely as he supported the mural, right? Supported the parties involved and supported Black Lives Matter.
Now read that one part that you said.
Hold on, before we even read anymore, I have to make sure they understand, like, for us, as representing Black Lives Matter, we have never, let's say never, we have never received any support from Sheldon Neely, any support from the city. We have always been blackballed, even to the point where they have created a sidebar advisory committee, right? That was supposed to be carrying out some projects or working here in the community that we have never saw. It's very important that you make sure you understand and be clear that us BLM, we've never got no support from it. So it behooves me when I hear statements like that.
It's really confusing that he would come out and say all that stuff and actually be against it at the same time. What type of representation is that? And then, like you said,
it's political.
said that he formed another coalition, and it was actually to block the progress. But he said that he was going to involve other cities.
It says the mural is a demonstrative public declaration that supports a series of actions taken by the city of Flint since the death of George Floyd. And it said the city of Flint declared Black Lives Matter in an official City of Flint resolution. The city of Flint passed a resolution to support implementation of a duty to intervene for sworn and unsworn city of Flint Police Department employees. Mayor Neely began forming a coalition of Black mayors to address issues of systematic racism on a statewide level.
Mhm.
Chief Phil Hart is instituting true racial healing and transformation training for the Flint Police Department. Uh, and the city of Flint passed a resolution to denounce the use of illegal restraint methods and create a zero tolerance policy for their use. Okay. The city of Flint passed a resolution to declare racism a public health crisis. The city of Flint will draft a new ordinance forbidding bias crime reporting to make it illegal for anyone to report a crime because the color of someone's skin made them nervous. Mayor Sheldon Neely created a Black Lives Matter advisory council to the Flint Police Department to ensure those working to address the issues of police brutality have a seat at the table.
And you've never heard from them.
Mm-mm.
I don't think nobody in the city never heard of them. We never heard of, you may have heard of the name or them kind of trying to draft some folks, but if you talk about the impact of the work that was made, nothing, right? You hear nothing has happened. And I don't even know why you would go to the extent of creating an advisory committee when you have an official chapter here in the city that's been out here on the front lines doing the work, holding folks accountable, from the Genesee County Sheriff Department, Chris Swanson, from the prosecuting office with David Layton. You've seen protests and demonstrations all around the state of Michigan. Why would you not peacefully, but why would you not support those who have been out there on the ground in the mud, putting everything on the line just to go ahead and support and fight for Black lives, right? If I was a mayor or a person in leadership at that time, that is something that you create something around, right? You put the energy, you put the resources towards those initiatives because it's happening, right? You don't have to go ahead and wrap around and do another sidebar group just to try to continue to do some work that's already done. And I think that's where, things become muddy, right? And people be confused. And that's not the type of leadership that's going to move the city further. If you're going to create resolutions and you're going to do all these different things to kind of combat systemic and structural racism, then you're going to work with the people and the residents, the constituents, right, that's out there on the front lines. And that's why the city of Flint be looking the way it look. We get 1,000 calls. Like, did anybody call that advisory group? We get calls every day. You sit in this office, we get calls every day about an issue that's taking place, and we doing all this fighting and work, but we don't have the necessary resource to combat everything, right?
Your partner is not existent. That coalition does not exist. The cooperation is not there because there's not even communication.
Correct.
And then to say 3 years later that Black Lives Matter is not a message that I want to promote. That's what Sheldon said to me. He
Mhm.
said, this is not a positive thing.
Mhm.
He said, this is divisive in the community and that there's a secret agenda
Yeah.
for BLM to
Right.
demasculate and emasculate Black men. Where
Yeah.
did he come up with this?
That's just the banana in the tailpipe, right? And some folks will listen to that. Even some people of our own will pay attention to that mess, that nonsense.
Didn't he also say too that it promotes violence? Black Lives Matter.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, to
And
be
he wanted
honest,
to negate the message. First, he said that we couldn't paint it on there because it was poisonous or it was dangerous or it was slippery, but yet they paint school with the same paint. Yet it's the same vendor and ingredients for the line paint and the on the streets.
Okay, I want to know what paint did they use to paint the crim that was just last week on those slippery bricks, because bricks are slippery than concrete. What paint did they use on those bricks to paint the start line for the crim?
They don't use the street paint. They do not use that because that's permanent. They use something that can be worn off. It's like a chalk, a spray chalk. And yes, that does add slipperiness to it.
Yes, it does add slippery. What Councilwoman Liddell Lewis had said, that it that people be sliding down the street Okay.
Sometimes
Well,
people be ignorant to the fact that didn't you haven't never saw a crash over there where that mural is. Nobody slipped. You wouldn't even walk down the street slipping on that mural.
We provided studies, 6 studies that showed that traffic accidents are reduced at the site of those murals.
Mhm.
And there have been studies done, but they have been painting in the street with it to decrease traffic accidents. They paint optical illusions now.
Mhm.
That's done all over the world,
Mhm.
not just America. And England has been doing it since the 1960s
Right.
because they
I
have,
saw something on
and
that.
so is Japan and France because they have multi intersections that cross.
Mhm.
So those the painting reduces accidents. It does not promote more accidents. So that was a lie too. That was a misnomer. But he kept throwing things out there that were he was gaslighting us, throwing things out.
gaslighting.
And I just don't understand what kind of leader does that.
So, can they just bring up how many accidents happened when when Black Lives Matter was first painted? Were there any accidents then?
No, there were
None.
none.
So why
Yeah.
bring this up?
It
Because
was
it's a lie.
another gaslight
Okay.
lie.
Yeah, the thing is, man, but that's what it is. When folks don't want to do something, yeah, they gonna gaslight you.
Mm.
It's like all these politicians out here today, they gonna tell you everything that you don't want to hear, right? Everything, and give you the runaround.
When he
You
said
know,
the
when we
mega
had
people,
when we had meeting after meeting with these folks downtown about this mural, right? When I say we didn't have many meetings about just this one project. And so every time it was a different narrative. It was a different thing that they wanted. They wanted uh, a plan, a project plan, right?
a
So
map,
so I was able to create that. We got a map, right? They want
porta
porta
potty.
potties. They wanted
they
all
wanted
these
to see the
different. They want to
contract.
see the contract. They want to see the insurance. We provided all that information. Just imagine coming to a meeting
Draw
and you
with
provide
stage
this
to go read.
information, and then you get some more things that they asking from you, right? That they never mentioned before, right? That's just let you know that there was never no support for this. They didn't want to see this. They didn't
Say
want to see
that.
this happen.
Just say
Just,
that.
I would have respected it more if you would have just said like, yeah, you know what, Juwan, I'm just not a big fan of yours. I don't want to see this happen, right? I'm just not gonna support it. I would have respected that. Yeah, I would have lit your ass up, but it was like more important is like, all right, well, at least you coming with some truth.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, like, the runaround was embarrassing. It was disrespectful, and to be able to come do all that work that we did for nothing,
For
right?
nothing. He canceled our
Is
pay. He
embarrassing.
canceled our funding. And what does that look like with the community partners? Oh, we're not going to fund. We're not going to partner with the Black
He
community
didn't
partners because
necessarily cancel it. The thing, it was the project was contingent on a permit, and that permit was only to block the streets. It
yeah.
wasn't nothing else. We didn't need anything else from the city.
And then to have 3 police cars out there watching us.
It was families there.
It was children there writing what freedom meant to them.
Yes.
They were making posters about freedom and Juneteenth and
Mhm.
how we don't have to live under oppression anymore. But yet there we are, the oppressors right there with their lights on, 3 police cars. What kind of use of city money is that? You're going to have 3 police cars out there for 3 days watching an empty lot, thinking somebody's going to jump in the street and dodge cars to paint?
No, but
And we didn't even get funding?
no, the thing is, our funders has always been in support of what this project was doing. They always, and to this day, still will. And they was actually baffled by just the miscommunication from the city and why we couldn't do whatever we needed to do to make this happen.
For
And
him to say we blackmailed partners, community partners, into funding us. That was ridiculous. I didn't even know where that was coming from.
Why would we do that?
It doesn't
No.
make any sense.
no, it doesn't make any sense.
I seriously, I don't understand why people support someone that doesn't support us back.
But then you got to go back to history. Like, man, a lot of times, man, we don't be understanding how we kind of hurt each other. we understand about supporting somebody that doesn't have a love or a respect for you as people, and we support that stuff blindly. And I don't know if it's a thing that we want to be close to, kingmakers, or we want to be around um, people that we think that can help us or get us further. But that has been a problem for us as people for a long time.
Yeah, supporting and promoting the Willie Lynch mentality.
Yeah,
And our leaders seem to fall under that spell as
yeah.
soon as they get into power. They say they're going to represent us, they're going to do this, they're going to have coalitions, we're
Mhm.
going to come together, and yet all they do is pick up a check.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like a lot of times people be fighting for this situation, fighting for us, and they don't the people that really be out there on the floor, man, with no resources be fighting like hell. And we don't support them. We sit up there, do everything but support the people that's doing the work, but we would support some nonsense, people that's negated us from moving forward, people that will kick us in the butt, right? If you let them, right? People that don't care too much for you at all, don't even look to you for anything but your vote or your support, your check. And we support that stuff. But like when you got people out here struggling to move initiatives that's really impacting, they don't get the support. And then the system puts them down because that's a threat. It's a threat to what they got going on. It's a threat to their society. And they don't want to support that. So they put folks like that look like us in position to hinder us.
To,
Or they put
to keep
folks
us tamped down.
or they put folks that look like us to, sick them on folks, man, that's doing the real work. And if we ever want to see something true from ourselves, we got to stop buying into that. We got to stop doing that. You know what? A lot of times, man, even with this Black Lives Matter, right? It's been times and times and times, man. You know, you'll sacrifice everything. You out there in his office, you out there in the streets, you answering these calls, you being about this and that, trying to help people on a day-to-day basis.
On a
A lot of
local
people, a
level.
lot of people don't even local and national. A lot of people don't even know to the extent of what you're doing.
Right.
But they will come out and say some stuff out the side of their neck. Don't even know what's going on, but just spew some nonsense and will be looking stupid. So when people who really be really doing the work, they just look at them like, man, you got to be crazy. And I gotta be clear for myself too, right? I know even me, and I've been dedicated, for a long time to the point where you know what I'm just it's a lifetime. I don't even gotta say black lives. You when you see me, you use representation of black lives. If anybody, anybody, ever felt like I ain't never been there to fight for you, you sadly mistaken. And I hear these blogs, I hear these podcasts sometimes. I hear these conversations on the air, right? Well, I don't even hear it. People come tell me. They'll tell me, bro, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Right? Or whatever. Whether it be white folks, black folks, whatever the case may be, right? But that never stopped the mission for me. So when I hear people like Art Woodson would say some nonsense about I ain't speaking up for black people, boy, you crazy. That is dumb to me. I could care less about what you think. I could care less about what Neely think. I would never, and it's hard for me to be in spaces with this dude, right? Like I said, I'm a diplomatic person. I'd be hard to be standing around, not even around this fool, because what I know what he's done. But I'm trying to be diplomatic because I got folks, I got mentors, people, and just try to go ahead and navigate those through those systems and people. But sometimes I gotta blow it up. And it's not to hurt nobody, not to hurt my own people. But it's to pull those folks to the side and say, man, listen, you ain't doing this right. You ain't taking care of business the way we need you to do. And it hurts us. It hurt the next generation coming up.
Because they see that.
Yeah, no, they see that, but they know that. But they don't care about that. That's the slap in the face. So I don't be having time. Sometimes I don't be having time to even, respond to folks. Because you lame to me. That's weak. Some stuff you'll never come say to me in my face. I don't care if you Neely. I don't care if you Woodson. I even heard Clack asking about some stuff. Listen, y'all know me. You know me. Y'all boys got my number. Y'all know where I'm at in the city. Hell, you know where I'm at, what building I'm in right now. If you ever got a problem, if you ever want to say something, you ever want to come to me, my door is open. That door open right now. And we gotta be real about it. If we don't be real about this stuff, man, we gonna still fall victim to this nonsense. And I ain't want to run in circles. I just can't do that.
Everybody should have their own mission, and it shouldn't be tearing down the next man's mission.
I respect, for sure.
If we can't come together, don't tear us apart.
But the thing is, we try to come together.
Yeah.
We be trying to come together. We for sure try to come together. I know I do call unity.
Yeah, we have to.
We even need some of them handkerchief what Eric call them.
Negroes.
We need some of them. We need them to be spooks by the door. We need y'all to play the part. If you got to be at the foundation, if you got to work at an organization, if you got to work in the system, we need you to play the part. We need folks kicking the door in, and we need folks on the inside unlocking the door.
Yeah.
Everybody play a role.
Everybody has a role to play.
Everybody play a role. So until we start understanding what our role is and what we gonna do, start this bickering and fighting, and ain't none of us getting nowhere. Nothing is changing for this city. We ain't got no economic development taking place around here. We ain't got no representation from our leaders. We ain't got no educational system that's in place for the future generation. We ain't got no vision, period. People just waking up every day, just living, hoping. Get on there, watch them damn council conversations for 13 hours. Ain't nobody did nothing. Yeah, and folks around the country think they laugh at this. Folks doing this stuff, put this stuff on TikTok, just laughing, making a mockery of our city, our local government, and folks think this stuff is funny. But then understanding why people don't want to go vote. I understand my brothers on the set that don't want to vote. Even some of my closest partners, right? They don't be want to vote. They don't want to get involved in this stuff. They don't even want to hear about it. They're gonna only do it because, hey, listen, bro, I know you doing it, right? And I'm gonna support the situation because you doing it. But even then, that ain't enough. Voting is just one thing. We got to be every day out here working. We got to be every day writing up proposals and changing ordinance, right? We got to do things. We got to look in the mirror, look at ourselves and say, like, look, what am I contributing? What am I doing? Right? How am I gonna be the difference? How am I gonna make some change? What type of plans I can set up or collaborate with others that's gonna make a difference? If you ain't doing that, man, you just sitting up here contributing to the problem. Everybody's so distracted. Everybody involved in the circus. And that's what's so sick. Like even when you look at the ancient times, when you talk about, the Catholic, right? The whole thing was like, man, create the Olympics, right? For folks to be distracted. If you talk about create a circus for folks to be distracted, people just on one side, on the other. Some people on this side supporting this nonsense. Some people on this side supporting this nonsense. It's just like Democrat, Republicans. But ain't nobody doing nothing. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing happened. When black people in Louisiana created the people of the Republic, we created Republicans. Republicans just hijacked it. And then we had Dixie Cracks on Democrat side. That was never about progression. All they did was switch over. Once the Civil War was on, once Abraham signed that, Abraham didn't do too much. He was forced to do what he had to do. And like he wanted to do that. He wanted to change that. I know Obama talk about it like, yeah, like he was a great man. And that man was pushed up against the wall. You had them black soldiers that was saying, like, this is what it's gonna be. This is what it is. Ain't nobody, it's but for the taking. Ain't nobody, you gonna ask for your freedom? If you're in bondage, you gonna ask people to let you go? You gonna ask people who created a capitalistic system to give you some money, or give you some fun, and give you some support? And they understand the game? That's like if I created a game, I know the rules to the game. I created the rules to the game. You ask me to change it for me to lose. Are you sick? It didn't happen until somebody took it. Somebody said, listen, man, just like them Haitians, we talking about 1804, you talking about Jean-Jacques Dessalines, you talking about them real soldiers. They ain't come to the French and say, let us free. They fought and beat them twice. and to the fact that French had to put a price tag on them that they'll never be able to pay, that keeps them in the circumstance that they in, and we ain't did nothing to help them.
Teach them.
Just like Haiti. Haiti was the first liberated slave nation.
That's what I'm talking about. They liberated themselves. They was the first,
liberated themselves.
and we ain't came back to help them. We know the
We
disarray
haven't
that Haiti in.
Anything.
Even look at what the situation when the Haitis came over to Texas, and you let all these illegal immigrants over here. You let all these immigrants from
come over, go straight to jail.
Nah, yeah, you got the ones come from Ukrainian. We try to open up spots. I heard them talking about keep bringing the Afghans over here, but you ain't never did nothing to sit up here and support the Haitian folks. You ain't never. Them people was flying right up out of here. You ain't did nothing to support that. Yeah, went down there to Texas to fight. Make sure we had boats bringing them over, leveling out the numbers. It's a numbers game.
Is taking their iridium, mining their mountains of iridium out and taking away. And iridium is the most expensive mineral, precious mineral, rare mineral that there is. And they've got mountains of iridium.
Man, Haiti is a rich continent. Haiti is a rich country. Say that.
With the richest resources.
That's just like in Africa.
Exactly.
Africa is the richest continent around the world. Everybody benefits from Africa, but the Africans. You sit up here, you got the mineral that's in our cell phones. Everybody using our cell phone. Everybody got cell phones. That mineral was found in the republics of the Congo. The people in the Republic of the Congo don't even benefit from those minerals.
Or diamonds or gold.
That's like me owning a property, a house, right, where I'm growing food and I'm not making nothing off of this. I mean, putting it in very simple terms, because sometimes you gotta be very simplistic for folks, because it go over people's head. We've always been feeling like a footstool in our city. This is majority black. I don't even like saying black, like original people, right? In this city, that we outnumber, but we not even in position. You got people downtown making all the plays. You got people that's elected in position, that's taking the plan and taking strategies from folks that's not even in position, right? They just run the city. We can run the city because I got the flow, I got the cash flow, I got the finances, I got the structure, I got the order. I ain't even got to be in an elected seat to make something happen. I just send a card down. Listen, this is what is gonna happen. You got folks like that. That's why that stuff be looking like that. You know, people can't even make a decision on their own. They can't even have the adaptability to understand, all right, well, listen, I'm going to make a conscious decision that's going to move the people further, because I represent the people. If you ain't representing the people, if you can't think on your own, if you can't go up against the system, if you can't speak out, you don't need to be there. It's simple as that.
We need to speak to power. We need to show up and show out. We need to tell them what we want for our city. And if they're not doing it, we need to vote them out.
And please, and this is another thing, man, is that, and you know what I'm saying? I like some of the folks on council. I think some of them have a good heart. But when you, just like Councilwoman Burns is saying right now, like when you got 6 black members on city council with no black agenda, we all fail.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a numbers game. You got to have the numbers to win. Like you can sit on the board and fight all day long. I know Eric be fighting, right? And I agree with Eric sometimes, but then sometimes, you know, we be having our bouts, right? I know Eric a long time. I would come up as a young kid passing out literature for him and my Uncle Ed down there in the Second Ward. I don't even, you know, be in agreement with him. Actually, we ain't even on the same page at all right now because of where he's staying. That's just being solid, being real. Like I can't sit up here and support no nonsense like that. Even when you know, will call me down to call me to try to lay off on Neely or something. Don't nobody silence nothing. You gotta be about that. People don't. That's leadership is about saying what need to be said when nobody else is saying it. I can't stand for that type of stuff, family or not. You could be my own mama. If you sitting up here going against what we trying to do in this community, I ain't rocking with that. I can't even be with it. Yeah, of course we're gonna be at odds. Yeah, I love you, but obviously I can't. We ain't seeing eye to eye. Just like, with kneeling. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You supposed to be a black man. The jury's still out on that.
But there
But
was no reason to shut down the retouch painting of the mural though, because Black Lives Matter, it's all over the world. It's in every last black city. What black city that you know of that doesn't have Black Lives Matter painted, and then the mayor shuts it down? A black mayor. What city, other than Flint, Michigan, the city that's known for the water crisis? So
It's just
you can go on and
ridiculous.
on about issue after issue. Yeah, even talk about the water crisis. That's so political. It's a black city. Hey, you know what? We're gonna silence these people. We're gonna put folks in position that ain't even go push the issue. Ain't nobody even said nothing about water that's in leadership. Not no Dana Nessel, not no Gretchen Whitmer, not no Sheldon Neely. Not anybody said nothing about no water. Ain't nobody said nothing. It's been silent. Ain't nobody been made whole from that.
that's why Black
That's been
Lives
10,
Matter.
that's been
Yes,
about 10 years ago.
exactly. Wow.
People just swept it under the rug and you still waiting on the check.
Still
That's how
waiting
they,
on the check.
but listen, that's how they play folks.
I mean, you had children, babies, all these people involved with this water crisis. Oh, but all of a sudden we trying to get some festivities going on about our culture, our people, and we can't even get a painting done.
But that's how they play. And I just, sometimes you got to put it out there. I don't know. Sometimes we be knowing it, we be understanding it, we be seeing it, but then we don't even want to do nothing about it. Maybe because we've been beat down for so long that we so tired.
Yeah, we're apathetic because it's just like when you take an elephant, when it's a little elephant, you put a rope around its leg and tie it to a stick. It knows it can't get away. It tries when it's a little elephant, but then when it gets big, it doesn't even try, and it could pull that stick out the ground, break the rope, but it's tied mentally. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to break the
Come on.
mental
Man.
chains that are tying us down to being apathetic and not standing up and speaking to power and saying, this is what we demand. And what is your position and why?
Yeah. You better break those mental chains. But then also, man, when you talk about the historical times, when you talk about biblical times, it said it was gonna be like this. Like it's been 400 years of us being oppressed. It's been 400 years of us being disrespected. It's been 400 years of us not getting nothing. Of everybody benefiting off of us and black people being a permanent lower class. And it seems like we have accepted that role. And a few of us get out, and a few of us make a few dollars, a few of us get into position, and then you don't realize that you got a job to do. Whether you're a ball player, whether you're a rapper, whether you a millionaire, whether you in whatever industry, right? It's a lot of people, man, that did something. We got a small percentage of folks that got some flow. But then they get caught up in these systems that they don't even reach back. And you've come from these circumstances. You know the outcome. You know what people dealing with. You got family members still in the situation where they're locked up, broke, they're trying to find a job, got kids, right? Trying to make a living, trying to overcome, right? I'm sick and tired of trying to overcome. That stuff is crazy. If we sitting up here still talking about Black Lives Matter 400 years later, then I don't know what the hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? I told my son, like, man, I'd be damned if you sitting up here talking about some Black Lives Matter. Like we gotta be, we better be advanced. When you think about what China did, back in the day, China was a poor country. China was dead poor. What they did was create a plan, strategize, mobilize. Everybody believed in, they carried out. Now they own everything, from the t-shirts on your back. They own a lot of America. They buying up Africa.
They're buying up our farmland.
They buying up everything. They being very military minded. We got to be military minded about it. We got to think about what type of industry can we produce. First and foremost, let's get our mind right. Let's stop sitting up here spewing all this hate. Let's stop spewing on. And even when I'm talking about these situations, these folks now, I ain't spewing hate, man. I'm just telling you some real stuff.
We're talking unity. We're talking come together and not be so fractured and not let fake leaders fracture us. We have to actually come together and stand for something. Then we find a politician that's willing to promote that agenda. we shouldn't be backing them and their agenda. They should be promoting our agenda.
A real talk.
Yeah,
They work for us.
Yeah, because we had like 10 days worth of activities for, our culture, for us to enjoy, out of all this that's going on in the city. 10 days, and then he broke us by not wanting to retouch a mural. 3 days you had police there, So,
And I don't even understand even the purpose of even having police there. You know what? If we had the money, I'm be honest. If we was waiting on them funds for our partners. But if we had the money, hell, if we had the money in our pocket, we would have bought paint, bought steel, and we would have did it ourselves. And I guarantee you, none of the police would have stopped nothing. It wasn't about none of y'all.
But why even give a order to arrest?
I'll tell you right now, it wouldn't be no. I'll tell you right now, it wouldn't be nobody getting arrested, right? That stuff would have been. It would have went down. If you gonna sit up here and try to stop some stuff like that, you gonna call yourself to come down there, waste constituent dollars, right, to be able to sit there on the side for folks just because. Hold on, just because the Neely was or whoever was scared that we was gonna go carry out the plan. And I'm gonna tell you this, yeah, they did call me. Lottie called me like 2 days before. And let me tell y'all this. We had meetings up into the point. They had a meeting on Wednesday. The mural was supposed to be painted on Friday. They had a meeting on Wednesday down with Neely and all them. And that's at the time when they told them that they pulled the permit. They wasn't gonna support it. 2 days before, we had all this stuff planned and strategized, ready to go. 2 days before we was about to get this going and do some beautification project for the city of Flint. 2 days before we about to recertify ourselves to this message, why it matters. So the next day, Thursday come. Lottie called me. Like, yeah, I heard, I know you did. I know you weren't at the meeting, but I know you heard what was going on. We pulled the permit, so we're not looking to see that Black Lives Matter mural. I told her, man, flat out. I said, shit, listen, man, we going through with the plans with or without, right? Flat out, right? Don't even matter what's going on. I don't care who sent you, whatever the case may be, it's gonna happen, right? Knowing we didn't have the dollars to do it, right? You know what I'm saying? But it was the thing of saying, like, you know what, we need to persevere regardless of anything. If I had the flow myself, if I had the money, I would have funded the project myself. And nobody would have stopped that project from taking place. The simple fact that we find ourselves in these situations where we in a crunch, we still got to be bold and strong about it. So what they do, they send these police down there to see if we're going to do it or not. That's how much power we would have, right? If you combine that with the resources, then we unstoppable.
There it is.
That's the type of energy that we have to possess. That's what we have to do.
Yes.
And that's short of dying for this stuff. Meaning that nothing stops the movement. And I know we always have to put nickels and dimes together, which is very frustrating. But at the end of the day, we owe this duty. I'm thinking about folks that sacrificed in Galveston, Texas, that worked 2 years after the fact when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Still working for free. That's like y'all boys today working a job for free. Struggling. Ain't got no food. Ain't got nothing to change, no clothes for the babies. You can't take your lady out. But you working for free.
You working to owe them, actually, for the seed and whatever else that was on the land that was theirs. So you had to buy that from their store with their money. So you ended up owing for the next year. They had you to do their crops again.
Yeah,
that went on through the 70s.
Just played you. Just played you.
1970s.
That was in the 70s, and we in 2023, and they still playing you.
Yeah.
It's a capitalistic country. Now, sometimes you don't even realize, it don't even matter if you black or white. Oh, man, listen, the rich and the poor, it's a system, it's a structure. You need folks on the bottom to hold the foundation, while folks on the top, benefit from it. That's what the whole setup is about. I got some right friends, right? They be talking the same stuff, right? They be in a crunch themselves. But it's like,
But they don't wear discrimination on the outside of their face. We do.
so it's like this. It's more of us that's in a bind than those who are in position.
This is true.
You
That
know what they
speaks
would look at?
almost the
You know,
98%.
right. You got to look at it like this. Just like on the plantation, it was more quote unquote slaves than it was of those in the house, right? But to go back to that concept, if you put a rope around a pony's neck, you tie it to nothing. It's just on the ground. Mentally, that thing is stuck, and that's how people is right now. Like we like cattle, we just stuck. We just feel like, oh, we ain't no fighting the system. Oh, we can't get nowhere. We can't do nothing about it. Sometimes it is what it is. You know that old saying when folks say it is what it is. We can't do nothing about it. You know, bought into that concept. What would happen if you broke those shackles and you broke that mentality and you rose up? What you think the outcomes would be?
Instead of it is what it is what I'm going to make it.
And that's what we trying to make sure folks understand, right? Even in the city of Flint, we can make it. We can definitely make it. We ain't got to be no laughing stock. We ain't got to be a deprived city. We ain't got to be dependent on General Motors coming back. You ain't got to be dependent on that stuff. We could be like, all right, we be visionaries for the future. All right, listen, this is where we at now. Let's accept where we are now. We at the bottom, right? Okay, let's devise a plan and some strategies that's gonna rise us up, and we step up every chance we get, right? And we secure our situations, right? And we create something for longevity. In the next 50, 100 years, it ain't gonna happen overnight. In the next 50, 100 years, maybe when your kids or grandkids get older, right? And they in position, they educated, we got an industry that we created and developed that we benefit from. We got folks in position that really understand the mission, right? And they're playing their part. It's going to be a thriving, robust community times 10. And I think that's the type of energy that we so desperately need right now. What's up? What's up, brother Darius?
Yeah, I was just listening, man. I was gonna tap into what you was just saying. Like I had been proposing to people, like, so say I think we got like what is it, 60,000 workers in the city of Flint. The actual people that got jobs. I mean that number might be a little high, but my thing was I was saying if imagine if you just had every working individual in the city of Flint just give $1 a week. It's $1 a week to a fund, like just for the city. And it's just the people doing it. Because we ain't gonna change ain't gonna come the other way. It's a village concept. And I've been on that, been preaching that, like village concept. Because if we don't figure out something to do it for ourselves, we're gonna keep having these same conversations, man. You talking about 9 years with the water crisis, man. And you see what's going on the north side of Flint with all the houses and the changes they making over there, and all the money being pulled from the north side of Flint, and ain't not a dollar going that way. Like, it ain't gonna get better; it's gonna get worse. So they continue to squeeze us out the city. They want Flint. They want Flint. But in order to get it, they gotta get rid of all the poor folks. And they want Flint. They consider the residents of Flint the poor folks. And when they start moving you, that's why people didn't like it when I was telling people I was against this whole bursting field house thing. I said, you think finna put all this money in the bursting field house and allow the neighborhood to stay how it is? People finna get uprooted. You think they finna let all them y'all be around when we put all these millions of dollars into to tear it down? They finna uproot it, and ain't nobody, people ain't seeing that, and we can't. It's no more. You know, I'm not for no grant money because I don't want to take nothing from because I'm against the My Foundation because they part of the problem, and a few of the other foundations in the city of Flint, they're part of the problem. So I'm not ever gonna advocate for grant money. My thing is we got it's enough people work in the city of Flint. If everybody was just putting $1 a week together, like, man, you talking about if it's 60,000 workers, that's $60,000 a week, $240,000 a month that we could be putting towards projects as a whole city, as a whole, you know. But you got to get people to buy in too, though. You know, we're a party city. Everybody, they hurting, but they a party. We're a party city. Like, you know, them young boys and rappers, they can get everybody to come out and show and come out and show their best and pull up. But you throw an event, a positive event, you can only get about 20, 30 people to show up. You do something for the city and see how people show up, man. We got the mindset got to be changed too, man. I feel like a lot of people just gave up. I do. I feel like a lot of people just gave up. You know,
people did give up. People burnt out. People tired. People.
You know what I see on the side of that water? You see the words on the side of that water tower? You see what it say?
No. Flint strong.
Flint strong. People may think that's dope. I felt like that was a slap in the face.
Oh,
like
wow.
Somebody was trying to say, "Oh, y'all strong because y'all should have been dead." You feel? That's how I feel. When I saw it, like, Flint strong. Oh, they trying to be funny. Like, oh, y'all some strong po folks. Y'all should have been out of there. That's how I felt about it. Like, I wasn't happy to see that. I'm like, oh, they trying to be funny. Like, that's just how I felt. Like, it's really, it get disappointing.
And they done burned down most of the north side anyway. Yeah. Saginaw Street been on fire. How long now? About a good year. All these churches and buildings burned down, even on Franklin Street. You go down Franklin Street, you got all these buildings burned down on the east side. So it's the east side and the north side. Yeah. So they want our land.
They want our land, exactly. And that's why they did not repair all of the pipes, because if they can get all these green spaces, they don't have to repair the 2 or 3 houses that's there until they rezone that into something that we cannot afford. And they're taxing us right out of our own communities. And they trying to put us in high-rise towers so that when that catch on fire, they don't smoke us out.
And so what's gonna happen, man? Y'all ready to get smoked out? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
And they put all that money in that cultural center school, and then you got to get a lottery to get in there. Half the students in there aren't from Flint.
Well, no, actually, it's a lot of students. That's a lot of students. Unfortunately, a lot of Flint people, have moved around, right? They're in different areas. So the thing is, our schools, right now, but it's about like 90%, 85% of our students.
It should be all of our students, because those other communities where they brought the principal from, Davidson, they got the money. They got a TV station where they're producing programming. They've got the equivalent to Channel 12. And we're sitting up here begging for stuff. With classrooms still too hot to have children in them, because we have box fans.
I would think about too, like when you're talking about our schools here, our public schools here, it's really about us building up our public educational system.
Right.
Like we've got dollars down there. We got the ESCA dollars, right? You got some of them Harper dollars down there. You got all these different funding sources right now. Money, millions and millions of dollars is down there right now. Just like millions and millions of dollars down here at the city right now.
Right. At 60 million we'll never see.
It's like when we don't have the resources, we like, man, we need funding and resources to make something happen. Now that we got resources, it's like, man,
we need money and resources.
or they're not addressing the issues that we've been talking about for the past umpteen years.
So the ARPA committee, like whatever they say, does anything go forward with the ARPA committee?
I know one thing that ARPA money is going to go back to the COVID money because the government's asking for it back if it's not allocated. So we have to allocate it. We haven't even allocated it. We ain't saying where it's going to go. So if we have no designation, it's going to go back.
So we paying the ARPA committee, and
They're watching us dance around the money, not knowing what to do. Give it to them, but then they don't even know what to do with it. That's crazy.
so we paying the council people and the ARPA committee.
Now we not being diligent about where we put our dollars to the needs. It's real simple. It don't even take a 17-hour meeting to make this stuff happen.
No.
It don't take people coming in there cussing you out, telling you how terrible of a person you is, right? It don't take you lobbying for police officers because your vehicle is being vandalized outside. It don't take none of that. It takes sitting down and be like, hey, listen,
police officers out of retirement to police the council.
it takes some real sound critical thinkers. It's gonna be like, all right, listen, we gonna go ahead and be strategic about how we gonna move these dollars. If we got enough people who support the forward progression of Flint, we all gonna vote on it. Everybody, just because you represent the 4th ward and I represent the 5th ward, doesn't necessarily mean that hey, we gotta be against each other. At the end of the day, hell, we all in the same city. You just on the other side of town. We listen, we're gonna have to make it work. We're gonna strategize with each other. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna make sure these dollars get spent in our neighborhoods.
Yes.
We ain't selling out for no lawnmowers. We ain't sitting up here doing all this extra stuff to throw an event, to put our name or on a marquee level. We ain't got time for that. People that's in the crush ain't got time for none of that. We ain't gonna sit up here and give some dollars to people to go tear down folks that's out here putting the work in. We ain't got time for none of that stuff, man. We're too far behind. Man. It's like it's the 4th quarter and we down by 20.
Man.
Hey dog, listen, we gonna X and O. Let's get this game plan together. If we want to win, let's win together. That's what it's gonna take.
That's exactly what it's gonna take.
Like they said, man, like all them closed door meetings, strategizing, cutting up the pie, people eating it off the top. Next thing you know, we was talking, it was $96 million in the city of Flint. Next time you look up on the balance sheet, it's $12 million. Like, man, what happened? And folks ain't got no service.
Ain't nothing happened.
The elders are still looking for roofs, handicap accessible entries into the house. You need to invest into the neighborhood. We got our investment going on downtown, but we ain't investing in the neighborhood where the value is. We're not even investing into the human resource with the people. You make sure you be training folks for jobs. We be looking at, hey, what's the next big thing, right? How can we bring and track those industries here? Like, what can we do to lobby to get these type of energy, this type of sector here? Like, that's what you be doing. You be setting that stuff up. Just like I love what they did in Saginaw. They put money into the properties.
They bought it in Saginaw.
They was about it, did it? Here we is. We still
money quickly.
Man, quickly. Here it is.
And now people are getting it.
3 months before we gotta get the money back. We sit up here and talk about what we gonna do with the money.
Right.
Hey,
what to the nonprofits? Okay, like
what the hell is you talking
we mostly giving it to the nonprofits, and I got relatives right now that need their bathrooms redid, roofs, got health conditions, whatever. But first of all, we were looking at the nonprofits first, to disperse it to the nonprofits first before we look out for our elderly.
Sometimes that's the overplay for the underplay. Listen, we gonna give it to this agency, the same old agencies, right? That's been getting these dollars. They already got money. It's just some extra cap for them. We gonna give it to them, right? They know what to do. Okay, how do we create a funnel that's gonna be like, all right, listen, let's go this direction. Let's create a streamline, right? Whether we create an organization, for the city, whatever the case may be, put some real dedicated city folks, not the folks that's in position, but city folks, city regulars that's out there day to day, they understand the problem. Let's put them, in charge where they can go ahead and allocate those dollars to the need. Whether it be in housing, whether it be in employment, whether it be in youth, whether it be in elder services, you got all these different brackets that you can go ahead and produce type of opportunities,
Yeah.
right? With this money that we got sitting in the coffers. Like those are the things in the vision that we have to have. We steady playing the same old game. It's like playing the same old card games.
I mean, this
But
was
if they running the same game on you and you're never doing nothing about it, whose problem and whose fault is that?
Yeah.
elderly had leaders still back in the winter. It's about to turn winter again.
Yeah.
So just kind of getting back to the basis of even this conversation,
Yeah,
even
I've been
talking
on the
about
Windows list for 4 years.
Yeah.
really,
Yes.
we could have did a GoFundMe, got Windows before then. Like
Yeah.
like shoot, man, I don't even. It's like you gonna apply for some Harper money for what? What, man? Man, what is it, man? That I ain't even banking on that, right? Ain't nobody
Right.
coming to save us, man. I ain't even thinking about that, right? But if we can get some flow from it, cool, good. That sound good. But what I'm saying is like, man, what we gonna do to change our mindset? That's gonna change the leadership's mindset to be able to get some action done, right? So the next steps, even we talking about this mural, right? T Green called me, right? He like, yeah, we might got some different opportunities for you. We got a building downtown, right? We might can put it on the building. Said,
Nobody mess with T Green,
that
man.
wasn't
Nobody
the plan.
mess with
If we wanted to put that on the building, we would have went over there and painted the building. Hell, what the hell that's gonna do? That's not the intent.
No.
But he like, man, yeah. You know, the thing is, you're still getting it done. Nah, listen, if we trying to do something, this is our intent, this is our project, right? We are trying to fulfill the needs of the project. We are painted in the streets because that's where it is.
That's where
It's
it
a
is.
statement on
We're
Martin Luther
taking
King
it to
Street,
the
right? In the
streets.
BLM zone.
Yes.
What does it look like putting it on an abandoned building that's gonna fall down the following year? What the hell?
I mean, we got Black Lives Matter painted in front of what Trump's tower in one city.
That's bold. That's how you do that.
Okay.
You sitting there.
You speak to power.
Yes. So
And
we
then-
got to speak out to, I guess, our mayor.
And then the brother said, yeah, I'm gonna call you back with some numbers and I'm gonna see what I can do. I ain't heard from him. Not to say that I was looking for you.
That sound like T Green.
We need our village to stand up and
like
speak to power. We
Lying
need our
on green.
village to stand up and protest.
Just like Sheldon was talking about, yeah, we're gonna try to make it work. He was telling Mrs. Deloney, and I know Mrs. Deloney we talked about this many times. And this is what I didn't like even about the city, right? You know what I'm saying? They had the nerve to come out here to Juneteenth events, right? And you know, I was so pissed, I was so livid. Every day I'm sitting up here just looking like I ain't gonna tell you, but I'm just gonna say, like, man, I was livid. I was very upset. Y'all we even come out here after all the nonsense that y'all brought us through, right? And then you got the nerve to make it seem like it's unison, and like we all together, and like, yeah, I'm gonna do the fireworks. Like, what the hell the fireworks gonna do for Juneteenth, right? You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. I was feeling a certain type of way that I was saying to, Mr. Deloney every time they'll be like, hey, they want to come up, speak, or whatever the case may be. You know what? It was just something in my spirit, like, and I love mother. That's probably the one person that I will probably listen to in the time of need, right? You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't stand for that. I just couldn't do it. It's just something in my spirit that wouldn't allow that to happen. So they would call and they would tell on me, like some little kids. Like I'm a grown ass man. Like, what the hell is you? What is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? What was that gonna stop anything? Folks want to call and think they can tell folks and tell on you, and then try to get people to get on their side. Like, are y'all crazy? That stuff is weak to me. And if you was a better sitting officer, or you was a better sitting mayor, or if you was a person in administration, you'd be like, you know what? Let's make this make sense for these people out here. Let's do what's right. If you was acting like that, shouldn't even showed up to the situations.
He's a credit stealer.
I'm just saying that stuff is just crazy to me. So all in all, man, we still pushing, we still kicking. Me and them is still definitely out there working. I had to take a month off. I actually took a month and maybe a month and a half off just for some self care.
Yeah.
Cause I was sick and tired of this crap.
I mean,
And I
yeah.
was so burnt out, like man, from teaching, to
He did. He
doing
put in the
work
work.
every day. Man, I'm in his office to damn near 10, 11 o'clock every night.
I
Like, man,
witnessed
I'm
it.
just like, see, I'm sick and I'm tired. I put in a lot of grind,
I witnessed it.
right?
Yeah.
And after Juneteenth, I was just super tired. Like, but listen, you know what? And I got children, they growing up, they teenagers. They're looking like, man, listen, I know you got these stuff going on, but we need you too. So you got to spend time with that.
Yeah.
And I got to make sure I'm there for it. So yeah, I took
Yeah.
some time off and to be able to take care of personal things and do some stuff that was on my checklist for the past 2 years, right? And it felt good. But now we back in the mix. We back on the ground. We back big stepping where we need to be. We back coordinating strategies and plans. We back holding folks accountable. We back on the mural. And we gonna coordinate with each other and we're gonna have some action, some impact out here in a minute.
I spoke to council twice. I spoke to council on July 17th, and I think it was the 24th, and that's where we got the feedback from Liddell Lewis about, it'll make people slide.
You shouldn't even say that today. I don't even know what that was about. It could be a black ice down there. Anybody sliding on the mural. I mean, come on now. I don't know who told you to say that, or who gave. If it was some dollars involved. I'm not even gonna say all that. I'm just gonna say I don't even know what possessed folks to even say that it causes accidents. When the research showed that is not the case. Ain't nobody ever slid on the mural in the streets all around the country. I'm just saying, I wouldn't even say that. You got street side, you got street, you got
country in other countries too.
you got street lines. You got street lines down there every day. Anybody slid on that stuff, right? I'm just saying, like, come on now, we ain't got to make excuses for this type of stuff. All we gotta do is be real about it.
Yeah, because why would they paint school with the same paint?
Oh yeah,
in front of the school district.
Oh yeah, and the Grand Blanc district they had misspelled it.
So it's just
Big shout out to this paint.
So yeah, we do have to stick together. We do have to become this village. And we have to
They had the mayor, they had Sheldon Neely out there spelling it with his degree.
He talking about with his degrees. What's so funny though, man? I see Sheldon. Hey, I visit my brothers my Masonic brothers, man. They had an event just past weekend. Big shout out to brother Reggie Davidson, man. We locked in for life. You know what I'm saying? They invited me to come out. Man, Sheldon was there. So man, Sheldon and his wife was there. So brother Red, like, man, yeah, keep it cordial. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm diplomatic. You know what it is, bro. So it's like, dog was over there, man. You know what I'm saying? I walked over there, going like, man, you know what I'm saying? Him and his wife just sitting there. Dog tried to give me a dap and shit, a little fist bump and shit.
You ain't fist bumping?
Wow. Hell no, I ain't fist bump for the black vote, right? I do that to all my black brothers. Listen, in the fight, listen, big bump, all right, all that, right? But then, I'm like, man, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? And I know, you know what I'm saying? I know dog don't like me, and I don't like him, right? You know what I'm saying? The difference about us is that I could be in the same room with you and not like you. I can be around in the situation. It ain't gonna stop my flow. You might be looking all crinkled in the face, looking all crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm vibing with the people. Right? It's a thing, man. But folks wouldn't look at you like that, man, if you was doing right by the constituents or by the city that elected you to be in position. So it's a thing to you, man. It's telling you, like, man, just get on your job. Right?
There's history with him because when we had the water crisis, GM wrote to Sheldon and they got their water changed.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
you do
because
that.
it was not
Yeah.
sticking to the dip
The
tank.
parts.
Yeah.
The paint was not sticking to the cars because of the static dip tank.
Yeah.
So they got to change back over to a different water. That went through Sheldon's desk.
Yeah.
We did not get that benefit of getting our water switched back.
Oh.
So he's a corporate puppet as
Yeah, nah.
well. So I
yeah,
didn't
all that.
understand how he could get away with that and then
So
run.
in other words,
under-
Black lives don't matter. to
Black
them.
lives do not matter. Exactly. And that's what I said.
Them
in
not
essence,
about them
Black lives
them
don't
green
matter
dollars
to
matter
me.
to people.
Oh.
I said,
Yeah, I was just
because
gonna say
we
that.
have a
Money
fund
matters.
of
That's
$1
what matters.
billion, a rainy
Dollars.
day.
What?
It was pouring cats and dogs here. They
Yeah.
act like it wasn't raining in Flint.
Yeah.
So they didn't fix anything. They never touched that $1 billion fund. And that was Snyder's fund. That's the Republican Party.
Yeah.
They didn't think it was necessary to fix Flint. And then we have to pay for their defense and their attorney. That's like paying for the attorney of the
prosecution.
rapist. You know,
It's
that
like
raped us.
paying the prosecutor's salary.
Yeah.
That's seeking to convict you. Like,
That's,
yeah,
that's
I'm
trying
saying,
to
like,
lock
hold
me
on
up.
now,
You
what-
tried to kill me.
I'm confused.
Now you're gonna make me pay for your defense.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Only for you to get off.
Yeah, for you to get off. And then you go to your in-laws and you give them our money to sell us Michigan water back.
Yeah.
Because they're in Canada pumping at the borderline. And the
Mhm.
pump house goes over to Michigan where they're pumping out that water.
Yeah.
Nestle's water is stolen from Michigan.
Wow.
You know who behind Nestle? It's Snyder.
Snyder's wife.
Snyder.
That's his in-laws.
You know what I'm saying? See, so
I
it's
heard
like
that.
it's
And
always
where does
a
he-
big game.
Where does he hold most of his investments? Private prison.
Yeah, see. He should have locked a couple of them boys, you know, some of his folks
Yeah,
up,
he should
man.
have
We
knocked,
would've
locked
got
his cronies up and jumped in the cell himself.
put more
Don't
money
get
in
me
his pocket.
started on private prisons.
Yeah.
We'll be here all day. Don't get me started
That's
on
slavery,
private.
modern day slavery. And that's
Yeah.
what they're getting their money off.
So man, listen, we got a lot to deal with. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I
It's
think
time to get real serious.
Trying to break a system, a systemic
Yeah.
racism, and still modern day slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see us coming together enough against this type of gaslighting that we're going through. This is more trauma that we're trying to heal from. An oppressive local government and state government.
Well, and listen, if you're tired of being gaslighted, you're tired of being bamboozled, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You want to see some change. You want to be the difference. You tired of folks looking and undermining you as people and not even seeing you as human beings. Then it's your time to do something. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about all
together as a village, like you said.
I'm talking about them brothers that's in the street, right? You know what I'm saying? You know I rock with you, my dogs. We talking about them rappers, man, that's putting some of that toxin out in the street. Like, listen, man, we need y'all to spit that message sometimes. Back in the 70s, rap was about conscience, right? We was talking about getting on, right? And you know, power to the people. We need all our folks, man, that's in the community that's advocates, right? We need y'all on one accord. We need to have one idea in mind, one vision, one plan. Let's get that done first before we spread ourselves thin.
That's right.
We need to stand strong. We need to stop buying into all this nonsense and going for these lies and being just told whatever by people in suits, right? We got to be real with ourselves. First and foremost, we got to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, man, you know what? I may have contributed to the problem before. I may have been on some nonsense. Even myself, I had some, you know how much time I had to spend in the mirror to be like, listen, like, what am I, how am I gonna be something different? You know how many times my people have prayed for, things and and over my life or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it was about, hey, listen, this is the constant decision I'm gonna make. I'm gonna be all right. Whatever I can do, whether it be in working with the youth, helping build up the next generation, whether it be in demonstrating, walking around different seasons. When they talk about protesting, don't do nothing but raising awareness in city after city. If it means stepping up, you know, speaking out when ain't nobody else talking about it, and it died down, you know, at least somebody got to keep it going. Sometimes you gotta look at yourself and say, like, you know what, this is the part that I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna play it to the fullest. Flint, Michigan, let's do something different. We've seen what happened over these years. We've seen what we can be. When we come together, man, we strong. We be
Show
super
up for
strong.
yourself.
We can see when we got black people in position right now. We need to be galvanizing all that energy. Like, all right, listen, you know what? Let's have a black agenda. Ain't nobody got to be fighting. If we don't like each other, we'll talk about each other on the back end behind closed doors in the room like they used to do. OGs and old heads used to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, listen, you know what I'm saying? We got to fight it out. We got to sit up here, sit down. We got to talk about each other, whatever the case. But then as soon as we come back on the front, is we united.
And what
And
people
we
don't
bagging each other.
realize is that every time the black man prospers, we all prosper.
Yes.
For real. You better know it. You better know it. And I want to prosper. Ain't nothing wrong with us prospering. Ain't nothing wrong with us wanting more for ourselves.
That's right.
I don't want to wait till I die to live heaven. I live
Every
heaven on
city
earth.
should have a Black Wall Street.
Yeah,
Yes.
look about what
Every city.
look about Virginia. Yeah, every city can be a Wall Street,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Original Wall Street, Aboriginal Wall Street.
The people got to buy into it. That's it.
People got to buy into it, but then they got to follow
They
through.
got to move.
Definitely need to follow through.
So I'm recommitted to the culture. I ain't never left the culture, but I'm recommitted to this community. You know, as it relates to, you know, coming back in and playing my part. And whoever I need to get up with, and whoever I need to sit down with, talk to, have a conversation, get on the phone, right? Work it out, whatever the case may be. Let's do it.
And I can come together with anybody as long as they're honest.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie in my face and expect
on
me
now.
to accept that.
Right.
I'm not going to. I'm going to speak to that liar
That's
and say
right.
you're lying.
That's right.
And let's get for real and
Mhm.
stop playing with
Yeah.
each other.
That's right.
Because we don't need to just talk
For
key
nothing.
points
Yeah.
and get nothing done. We need progress.
Yes, we do need progress. So we shouldn't be going through this every year.
Mhm.
And especially with this Juneteenth. We shouldn't be going through like
Mhm.
something, we be bumping our head on something
We should have funding that's put aside.
Continuous. Right.
Yeah.
every year.
Right.
You know,
Every
And-
year we should be
smooth.
building on this.
It should be activities throughout the year.
Yes, and it should
know what
be
I'm saying?
activities throughout the year on financial literacy
Come
and
on.
generational wealth.
I was
Yeah,
proud of what
because-
we did this year.
Yeah.
Proud of that.
We need to do that
Yeah.
again and again. And we need to start teaching our children about this
That's
in the
right.
beginning, how to save money, how to amass wealth,
Mhm.
how you can own things and not actually have the liability of owning it. You can
Mhm.
have LLCs and all these different entities that are put forth for the white man to prosper.
That's right.
We can do the same thing.
Come on now.
So we need to educate ourselves.
Come on now.
And see, that's what the festivities were about, the 10 days worth of festivities. I mean, you know, we have a North Flint food market, you know, getting ready to open up in the next month or so. You know, we had a job expo. We had like people there to teach how to write your resumes. We had a job fair. We had all kind of things, the healing circle,
Yeah.
you know, different things that we need in this community.
Mhm.
So
We need to be mindful and aware of what we need. And we need to come together to provide it for ourselves. We should have our own Black Sam's Club where where it's all Black products, where we can buy wholesale because our Black products cost more because we aren't together in a collective.
yes.
Now, if we had that collective where we were all putting into it, and then we could go pick up our Black products and we know where we're getting them from
Mhm,
and we know who's making them.
mhm,
And the minute they sell to a white company, drop them
Oh.
because
Mhm.
they changed the formula.
yes.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
And
We can
that's
make it
how
work. You
we
know?
can make it work. We don't need perms with cancer in it.
Yes.
Come on now. Speak on it.
We can have our own product
Yes.
and promote ourselves as a unit.
Mhm,
And we can deal directly with Africa in commerce. We don't have to go through all this. Ghana and Kenya have a system set up. We don't even need a visa because we're Black.
Really?
Yeah. So we can do commerce with them, trade. We can have import, export. Well, we're going around the white man.
See, that's
I'm
some
proud
knowledge
of folks
there.
in Ghana.
Me too.
That's knowledge there, because we have those stores where we buy from and
Yeah.
all our hair products and stuff. That's we use those. They got long, straight, pretty hair. We
Right.
don't they don't need the store. We do.
We need it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we need to provide for ourselves.
Mhm.
And then
If it's ways, I mean, we need to try to
we need
put
to
that out there.
investigate that, and we need to start enterprising with those people
I mean,
on a city level.
well, we need
state to
we
state,
need to be
too.
about it.
Yeah, state.
We need to be about it.
We need to definitely come together on these things.
Yeah.
Y'all motivated me. I'm ready to fly to Ghana. I'm ready to do this. I'm everything.
No, we can't.
We can have a Black Wall Street here to build it back
Definitely.
up some kind of way.
Build it back up.
I believe that, and I appreciate that because the conversation was refreshing, and I think we got out a lot of information that may have been misconstrued, and then at the same time, we putting the pressure on each other to perform.
That's right.
You know,
So don't believe all the rumors. Let's
Right.
get together as a group and discuss it and solutions.
come on now, that was strong right there. So we got any parting words that we want to lead the audience with, something that we want to make sure that they take from the conversation, or maybe a charge to action?
Yes, I think that it's something that we have to actively do. Each week, we have to support 2 Black businesses, local businesses. Go out there, purchase from them, get to know them, get a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to support ourselves. We need to support each other. And that's what Jewish people do. That's what other groups, minority groups do. And why shouldn't we do that too? Make that pledge.
I respect that. I think that's right on time. We got to have our finances in order. Right? First and foremost, we have our mind together. Have our finances together. Have some strategies and plans for longevity. Address our public health. Develop some structures for our youth that's going to carry on. And then protect our seniors and our women. Right. So we have to, and that's on the military concept. So we got to be very military minded about this now.
Mhm.
And we got to stand, whether it's hard, whether we tired, or we don't want to do it, or we turned off. We just got to continuously be about that day in, day out. I guarantee you, things going to get better for us. And we ain't got to wait till we die and perish.
We just have to do
Some
it for
change.
ourselves.
I know that's right. Anything, Miss?
Well, I think we should get some musical instruments for our youth around here. So we don't have any bands around here. I love band. So if any grants or anything that could be written, and we could take instruments in there, hire some teachers or whatever, because we all about music too. We got all kind of talents, and that was all shown in the parade. We have lawyers, we have fraternities, sororities, we have dancing groups. That was all shown in the parade. That's our culture, and Black lives do matter.
That's right. Well, there you have it. Right? Black lives is going to forever matter. Aboriginal lives is going to always matter. Right? And this mural is always going to matter. So we'll be continuing on. We'll definitely have a follow-up about the mural and next steps, how you can get involved, how you get engaged, what's our plan, and all that other jazz, man, considering what's going on with this situation. We have those updates for you. We'll be back on the format, on the front line. Call us anytime you need. We appreciate everybody for tapping into Fli-City Blackout. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Share the conversation, comment, get in there. If you got some insights you want to drop, please be our guest. We'll be tapping right back in with you.
One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
We have our annual mural festival coming October
Come on now.
1st through the 7th.
Shout out
And
to
if
the
any
mural.
Black businesses out there or people out there that know of a business that needs a mural, we're taking walls, volunteering. People are volunteering walls, and we will help remodel your area with volunteers for cleanup, and hopefully bring some more commerce to your store.
Oh, come on now.
Business.
Shoot. Let us know how we can help support. You definitely there.
Just looking for walls. I'm gonna
Yeah,
speak to
wall.
Reggie about if he wants
He's
a
got
mural
walls.
on his.
Yeah, he definitely got
building.
walls of Jericho. Okay, well, shoot, man, you heard it first. We appreciate everybody for tapping in and just just even provide some insight to the conversation. Let's stay diligent. Let's stay active. Tune in. Stay tuned in. We'll have more for you, updates and information. We signing out. Black it out. Yeah, I was kind of high, y'all. I'm down today.